Hello, Wilmington. It's been a little bitty bit since you and I have been together, but here we are for Where's Wilmington. Today we have a very special topic for you and some really special people here to talk about it. So we're going to talk about the Red Cross today, especially the blood drive and the need for blood and how that all works. So sit back, get comfortable, and let's meet our guests. Next to me, I have my new friend. Hello, nice
Hi.
to meet you. Jeff Hall, and you are a communications director for the Red Cross?
I do. I work and help tell the Red Cross story across Massachusetts about what we do every day.
All right. And your office is located in?
We are in Dedham, Massachusetts.
Nice. All right. And next to you is Peter James. And Peter has actually been 25 years plus a volunteer and also an organizer for all the Red Cross blood drives you see at the Congregational Church in Wilmington. Welcome, both of you. And thank you so much for being here to talk about such an important topic. Yeah. So let's start with you, Jeff. I'd like to ask a little bit about how you got involved with the Red Cross and what we really need to know.
Yeah, so I joined the Red Cross about 10 years ago, and I'm an employee. I saw the Red Cross doing their work in my past job with the U.S. Coast Guard. Every disaster we would go to, I would see the Red Cross there, and I gave blood regularly at Red Cross blood drives. So that was my first touch, and I've learned how much other things we do, but just the need for blood is incredible. It's never ending. So
Right.
we're just trying to promote the need for blood and trying to energize new donors to come on out.
Okay, so I want to backtrack a speck with you. When you said you gave blood since a long time, did your family turn you on to that? What made you do that? Was it being in the Coast Guard? What really made you make that choice?
Well, I think the first time I donated blood, I was 18, and the blood drive came to our high school, and when I was in the military, they encouraged us to donate. So, we understood that the need for blood in emergency situations. So we just were encouraged, and they made it very convenient for you. They usually come right to where we worked.
Right.
So you could just walk out of behind your desk, go over, donate blood, and sometimes you'd get the rest of the day off. Not always, but it was a great incentive.
Wow. So you have been involved really, 18, we won't age you, but
Right.
a couple of weeks,
Yeah,
right?
30
A while.
plus years,
So-
been
so-
some kind of association.
So this must be a very passionate cause to you.
It is. Helping people, it's been something I've done really since I left home at 18. So it's
Right.
an important thing, and this is another way you can do that.
Excellent. And today, folks, we're only going to talk about the blood drive, but someday we'll have you on again soon to talk about, because the Red Cross does so many things, but today we're focusing on the blood drive, which is why we have Peter with us. And before we started the show, Jeff actually said we need way more Peters in the community. So Peter, tell us about how you and why you got involved with the Red Cross blood drive for the Congregational Church and other organizations as well.
Well, when it started, I really, I I didn't know anybody that had a demand for blood or anything like that, but I felt the passion that people needed to save lives. And the best way to save somebody's life is by donating blood. And when you figure 1 hour of somebody's time could give somebody a lifetime.
Right.
Or more than one person a lifetime because of it. So thanks to my wife, who she said, if you really have a passion for it, go for it.
Okay.
And so then I went to the Congregational Church, which is a God-loving church with many activities going on in the church, and I asked them if I could run a blood drive. And the rest is history for the most part. For 25 plus years,
Wow.
They've been very supportive and very caring and loving to the whole community and to the blood drive. And as I hope to give many more years, donate my time many more times.
Well, we appreciate you. I'll say that.
I started off giving blood, and then later on I was unable to continue doing that.
Okay.
But I could still be a sponsor for the blood.
You know what? You bring up an excellent point. Let's talk about that a little bit. This is a little ahead of the game, but let's just go for it. So if someone cannot donate blood because they're ineligible, and we'll talk about what that means, there are other ways you can get involved. Jeff, let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Peter has been coordinating blood drives here for 25 years. That's probably one of the most important jobs, is that to to find a community that's interested in donating and work with the Red Cross to schedule those drives. And he, smooths the way for our team to come in, set up, have patients come in the door, donate blood, and make it a good experience. That's probably one of the most important parts of it, is so people return and continue to donate. They want to have a positive experience.
Right.
And Peter helps do that.
That is amazing. And I think you told me earlier, it's more than 25 years. It's
Over, I don't even know when I
quite
started.
a few, right?
Yes, yes.
But what's really nice about that is, some of us may be thinking, well, I can't donate blood. And what might be some of the reasons, Jeff, that someone couldn't? Without going into too much detail, because of course you're going to do the questionnaire online, which we'll get to, and you're going to talk to medical professionals. But what might be some of the reasons someone couldn't?
Perhaps sometimes certain types of medications make you ineligible.
Right. International travel sometimes?
International travel sometimes. We have rolled back a lot of those restrictions that we had for 10 or 15 years with England.
Right.
So people that were in England during the mad cow disease era in the 90s, they're able to donate blood. We have a lot of ticks here in Massachusetts. Sometimes that can keep you from donating blood if you've had Lyme disease. But there are programs and medications now, even if you had Lyme disease and you're on a treatment for that, you're eligible to donate again. So things are constantly changing. If you've never donated, we have a frequently asked questions section,
Right.
or just come to a blood drive and we can talk to you about it.
Right. And I love, Peter, that you found a way to still continue giving, even though you're in a situation where you can no longer donate. You're still doing something to help the cause, which is really huge, because I think sometimes people feel like, well, I no longer can do the thing that I did, but you still are able to help.
I have a
That's
strong
great.
passion for it.
I love it. And you also mentioned your daughter works as a nurse for
Right.
Lowell General.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about the need for blood that she sees working in the trenches of the
Well,
hospitals.
in general, they have the need for blood is constant.
Right.
And it's not just there, it's pretty much any hospital, depending on the time frame or what kind of disasters are going in the area.
Right.
Like around graduation time is another important time. Kids are going out of school, so people don't donate it. The winters, the storms and stuff keep people away from donating. So when people don't come to the blood drives, it makes a shortage all the way around.
Okay. Jeff, can you speak to what it was like for the Red Cross during COVID with the donation process?
Yeah, COVID really impacted how we collect blood. The spacing issues. So if at the church that we regularly go to here, and perhaps there was room for 15 beds prior to COVID,
Right.
maybe there's only room for 7. So spacing and masks and generally people just didn't want to go out, and we didn't really blame them, but
Right.
it did have a big impact on the number of donors. So we've tried to pivot, and we used to have open blood drives where people could just walk in. A lot of our blood drives are by appointment only now, and that allows people to have a time that they can get in. They know that's going to be the start of their hour commitment to giving
Right.
blood, and they'll know that they're out the door. So it helps us gauge the number of people that are going to come, and that we can have a good flow of donors in and out, and that keeps everybody happy.
As odd as it might sound, that probably kind of helped. Because I'm thinking of the olden days where I come from. You would just kind of walk in, wait in the line. It was a free-for-all in a nice way, kind of. But now it's more scheduled and structured. And I think people might like that more, knowing there's an hour-long commitment and you're finished and you can move on from
Yeah.
there, right?
When I first started the Red Cross in 2015, we'd have our Fenway blood drive, and we'd see 700 donations during that 9/11 day. And people would wait hours to donate blood.
Wow.
And kudos to them for doing that. But I don't know of anybody that wants to wait in line for hours, maybe at an
Okay.
amusement park, but not
Right.
to donate blood.
And what's interesting now, too, I was looking on your website, there are a lot of perks now. There's all the jokes about donate blood, $15, whatever. That's all campy comedy stuff. But there are a lot of corporations and organizations that are willing to give folks perks or rewards for doing something that is so amazing. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, we have great corporate partners that regularly run programs that allow donors to get a perk. We have gift cards sometimes with Amazon, other times with a list of stores, perhaps 25 different stores that offer gift cards. We've had pickup trucks given away. You can enter to win a pickup truck,
Wow.
enter to win a ticket, 2 tickets to go to the Super Bowl, Hawaii. So there are all different types of perks at
I
different
was just
levels.
happy about the $10 gift card,
Right.
but wow,
Right.
that's
So,
amazing.
yeah, we just sent 2 people to New Orleans for the last Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
And so those kind of run piggyback to the smaller promotions as well, but we also have really great t-shirts we give out. We had a big promotion with Peanuts and Snoopy t-shirts last year that really went crazy,
Cool.
and in a good way, and brought a lot of new donors in that had never had that experience. So
Good.
it was worth the shirt.
Wonderful. Can you tell me, Peter, what a typical donation day looks like for you? Can you walk us through what it's like as a host to do that process?
Well, with a normal day, they try for 20 or 30 people more if they can get it. Most of them are by appointment, because if you have an appointment, you have a locked-in time. If you're a person that walks in off the street, they don't want to turn you away, but you have to wait for an opening.
Okay.
And it's, the more they can get, the more they'll staff. And it's important to keep those appointments because the staff is prepared to handle the number of people that are coming in.
Okay.
And it's kind of funny because you could have a rainy, cold day and it'll draw more people, and then a hot, sunny day will.
Wow. That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's unpredictable.
Okay.
And that's why it's important to make the appointment so they can
Right.
have a heads up.
So when it's at the Congregational Church, where is it actually set up? In the lower hall of the church?
It's at the lower hall, yes.
Okay.
It's around the back of the building. You walk in the back door and down a couple stairs, and it all starts there from, well, hopefully you have your rapid pass done.
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that.
And so that moves things along more swiftly.
Okay. Are you handing out the cookies at the end of the line?
Yes, there's always cookies and
I love
something to
it.
drink. Yes, it's important to stay hydrated.
Yes, it's true. Jeff, let's talk about how the process has changed. You've obviously been involved with the Red Cross for a long time. A lot of stuff doesn't have to be, but can be done online now. So let's talk about health screenings and Rapid Pass and how we can kind of expedite the process to make it easier for us as donors.
Yeah, technology has helped smooth and hurry up the process of donating blood. We still have clipboards with pieces of paper on them for blood donors who don't have the Rapid Pass on their phone and haven't set that up. But a Rapid Pass is you download an application for your phone, and you put in some information, and it will help you set up an appointment. It'll ask you some pre-screening questions, and once you've donated, it will remind you of when your next appointment is. And if you elect to, it will tell you where and when your donation is used.
Okay.
So it gives you it closes
Wow.
the loop with your donation.
That's kind of fascinating.
It
As
is.
a donor, knowing where my blood or platelets, because we're going to talk about that too, can help, kind of makes me feel a little more invested in the process.
It does. It closes the loop
Yeah.
and gives you a lift at the end, knowing that, yes, my donation went somewhere and
Because
helped someone.
once it's processed, we didn't used to really know,
Right?
but now we know.
Yep. I mean, we wouldn't have touch with a donor really until their next donation. So
Right.
it gives us a way to interact.
Okay, so let's talk about the health screening process. Let's just get that out of the way. How comprehensive is that? How frightening can that be for someone? What's that like?
Well, one of the first questions they're going to ask you is if you're on a certain type of medication that
Okay.
could make you ineligible. Generally, you can go through question and answer. If you do the pre-screen, you're going to know.
Okay.
But they'll take your blood pressure, they do a pulse, they check your pulse. In the month, we are starting to develop a program where we're doing A1C testing for donors.
Okay.
So that,
Interesting.
1 out of 10 people in the United States are pre-diabetic or diabetic.
Right.
And 1/4 of that, they don't even know it. So we're going to give that kind of information back to donors as well.
Okay, so that's interesting because that's helpful to the person who's donating if they didn't know. How does that affect the ability to donate? You can't donate if you have?
You can, even if you're diabetic, you can still donate. You can still donate even if you have high blood pressure, but we're supplying that information to people so that they can seek out care with their
Wow.
primary care physician, because we want people to be healthy.
Well,
and
what an important piece to the
Absolutely.
puzzle. Yeah. Okay. So I do this online primarily, or maybe I don't. I come in, I give, oh, we have to bring an ID and we have to be 18, right?
Generally 18. I've seen some 17-year-olds at high schools, but yeah, generally 18 years old. Yeah, and
Okay. We bring an ID, we walk in, there's Pete. He says hi to us, he's really nice to us. And then what happens to us? What do we do? Walk down the line and
yeah,
what happens?
Yeah, you'll sit once you pre-screen and they welcome you in.
Okay.
You'll sit in a chair until a phlebotomist comes and takes you into a private area, and they'll ask you some more questions,
Okay.
more screening questions, and then they'll take you over to a donation bed, and they'll sanitize your arm, where they're gonna put the needle in
Right.
and get you prepared and talk you through the process if you've never donated before. And once they start the donation, it's about 7 to 10 minutes, and that's it.
Okay.
If you do a whole blood donation, and then you'll go into a recovery for about 5 minutes, where they put a Band-Aid on you and maybe have you hold your arm above your head, and then it's off to cookies and juice.
Love it. So before the process, I know your website is so comprehensive, and that is what, www.redcross.com. I mean, it's got to be
.org.
pretty
Yep.
easy peasy org, right, to find it. You got to do some things maybe to help beforehand. Hydration, what else?
It's good to be hydrated. Drink plenty of water before your appointment. And generally, we ask, if you are feeling well, if you don't have a fever or
Right.
displaying any kind of sickness, because if you're sick, we just like you probably don't want to be at work.
Right.
You probably don't want to be out donating blood if you're not feeling well. So if you're feeling healthy, you don't have a fever, yeah.
Okay.
Stay
I mean,
hydrated
that
and
sounds
keep
like
your appointment.
it sounds like pretty easy
Could
process.
I add to that a little
Yes,
bit?
please. I saw you. I
Yeah,
wanted
part-
to ask you.
Part,
Yes,
part
go
of
ahead.
that also is, especially for iron, they should
Yes.
eat green vegetables, dark green vegetables, and,
Okay.
what do you call lean meat?
So chicken, broccoli, and ziti.
No, red meat.
We're gonna have that. Oh, I'll put some sirloin on top of that.
That helps
That'll
the
be
iron,
good.
because women are their iron level sometimes is low.
Yeah,
It's not that it's low; it's just not high enough for a man.
I got you.
So they don't know where the blood's going.
Right.
So that's why it's important to, like a couple days before or whatever, eat some of those things to help spike the
Okay.
iron.
Can we drive after the process?
After 15 minutes or so.
All right.
It's because you want to make sure you feel good and you're hydrated, and even when you go home, you should still continue to drink for the next day. And
Water and things like that.
Yeah, and
Okay.
and what I tell people kiddingly is, now you don't have to do anything for the rest of the night.
I love it.
Leave that for your kids.
I love it. Okay. So when we donate blood, obviously we know the blood product is the primary, but there are other things that blood can be used for. Let's speak a little bit about that.
Yeah, so there's really 3 different types of donation. Whole blood is which everybody's first donation is usually whole blood donation. Takes about an
Okay.
hour. You see the bag of blood with the tube in your arm,
Yeah.
and there are also platelets and plasma. And those are done at usually Red Cross fixed sites, and we have one in Danvers, and we have down in Boston as well. And there's probably 7 others across the state.
Okay.
And that's a little bit of a different process, more lengthy. That's where a machine, as your blood comes out, it strips out the plasma or platelets and then infuses it with a saline solution and puts it back in your body. So
Fascinating.
yeah, you don't lose any blood volume in your body.
Okay.
But it does take significantly longer. It's about
Okay.
double the time.
So if that were something I wanted to do, I could look on the website and see where are the specific facilities and what are the specific guidelines for that.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
guidelines, and you can make an appointment right on that website as well.
Okay.
And yeah, Danvers is the closest to here, and then all the way down downtown Boston at Tremont Street is another.
Okay. What if I don't know what my blood type is, which I don't?
You'll know after you
You'll
donate.
tell me.
Yep, that's
How nice.
if you do the Rapid Pass with the app, once your profile populates, it will have your blood type in there.
Okay. What if I'm one of the more critically needed blood types, which are? It's got to be O.
A-
What is it?
O negative,
Yeah.
AB negative, any of the negatives
Okay.
are sought after. And if you come in and donate for the first time and have one of those types of blood types, we will be in touch.
Peter will give us 2 cookies a day.
I was just going to say, I believe you can double check, but the O negative is the universal.
It is. Yep.
Okay, cool. I saw something recently in the news about a transfusion van. Do you know anything about that, where they're now bringing the blood actually to critical needs?
I don't know if we do that. Well, I did read a story in like south of Boston, maybe down
Yeah.
by Weymouth, where where EMS did a transfusion on site.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
I think that's coming to the future. And it makes sense
Yeah.
because
if you're
the
critically
need is
injured,
critical
right?
there.
So
right?
we haven't seen a lot of that, but I did read a story about it in Massachusetts that happened.
Okay. What do you feel you need from the community? What are the needs really? Donations of blood, but what else really?
We need, to run a donation, you need a coordinator and you need what we call blood ambassadors. They sit and check people in, check on people in recovery, answer any questions. We need those types of volunteers. We need people that are passionate about it, like Peter, who give year over year to make sure that the community is protected by having enough blood on the shelf, because that's what it all comes down to. That
Right.
hospitals and cancer treatment centers have the products they need when they're needed.
What is the shelf life? I know it's bleak.
Yeah, blood is.
You can say it.
Yeah, it's. I always attribute it like milk. Milk does not last long in your refrigerator, and you have to purchase some new. And blood is the same way. It's very perishable, and that's why we need the constant flow of donors, new donors coming in, just to keep supplies up. The Red Cross, we work across the nation doing this. So if somebody needs blood in another part of the country and we have it, it can be shipped there in an emergency. So we do work back and forth with other blood banks across the country to make sure people have what they need. But yeah, we're always just looking to make sure. Ideally, we have 7 days of product on the shelf.
I think that's really important to note because I never really thought about that. You see the little blood drive signs all over the place and you think, oh, yeah, it's critical today. But now I know why, because if it is 7 days, theoretically.
Yeah, it's we just you never know when an emergency is going to happen or when a traumatic event is going to happen. So having the blood in place for the hospitals and doctors to reach for when people need it,
Right.
that's really what it's all about.
And Peter, you wanted to add to that?
I have something to add as far
Please do.
as people that donate. It's more of a question. A lot of people have asked me, how old is the maximum you can donate? And I was told, as long as you're healthy, you can donate even in your 80s.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think it's case by case, but yeah, like Peter said, if you're healthy and you're feeling well, and we encourage people to come out at all ages, and I think people do eventually get to an age where they're deferred, as we call it. But yeah, the work, you can go on and do something different if you're still passionate about it.
Sure. Peter, what do you think really motivated you to be as involved as you are for as many years as you are? Before we got on the air, we talked a little bit about you won't know you need the blood till you need it, and then it's kind of probably too late by then. So what made you really do this for 25 plus years, really?
I was just passionate about people needing blood and what could we do to help people. And one, as I think I said earlier, one donation can save somebody's life, or up to 3 people's lives.
Right.
And so with that passion, I felt it was important to get out there and encourage people to donate. And it can't happen unless everybody donates. So the people that are able to donate can donate. And then the Red Cross wouldn't have a constant shortage. It would help fill the void.
And how often, we want to keep this program so that it can be shown for many months, but how often does the Congregational Church do a blood drive? Is it quarterly? When can we look around and
This
see
is
that?
something I was going to add.
Please do.
If you can't make the Congregational Church, there's one at the St. Thomas's. What's the I can't think of the name of it. Well, one at the Masons and one at the
Okay.
Knights of Columbus.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And one at the Knights of Columbus and there's one at the Masons.
Okay.
And there's, when we alternate. So we try to do it, we've been trying to do it once a month, but
Right.
the numbers have been low and we got to get the numbers up. Otherwise, they're going to have to probably spread it to every other month because it's so important that people come. Otherwise, the staff's there
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, they're being paid to be there. And if you don't have people donating, you don't have
Okay.
the need. So we got to have the need.
Right.
The need is so important. We got to fill the need.
Right. Is there a place on the website that tells you where all the different blood drives are, or how do we get that information
Yes,
if we
so
need it?
redcrossblood.org is the place to go if you want to donate. There's a space in there where you type in your zip code of where you're at, and it will give you drive locations and dates to make an appointment within 5 miles, 10 miles, and 15 miles range. So it'll tell you when the next closest one is to that zip code. You can make an appointment right at that screen by touching a button, and then you're on your way.
Wonderful. I have to tell you folks, the website is so comprehensive. We can't obviously cover everything here today about health history. Of course, you're going to want to consult a medical professional, but everything you ever could want to know is on that website, really. It has all kinds of questions, answers, places to look, other things the Red Cross does, all kinds of great stuff there. Is there anything else you can think of that you'd like to tell us today before I let you go?
I think Peter just said it the best. You know, the need is constant. Unfortunately, accidents happen and people need blood, and we need willing donors to come out and recognize that they are the way that people get help. If you have a relative or loved one having cancer treatments, blood products from donors go to help them recover quickly after their treatments. So, and I like to think of it as a civic duty. It's something that you can do.
Do my jury duty, give my blood.
Right.
Right?
Maybe you can't, if you don't have time to volunteer or do something in your community, or you don't have money to donate, if you can find an hour every 2.5 months to come in and donate, you are really making an impact in your community.
It's good to know. And the Red Cross also needs donations in other ways too. Now, I know we said we weren't going to touch much today, but the Red Cross needs support as well as an organization. Can we just briefly touch on that?
Yep, so we're a nonprofit that does disaster relief across the United States. We have
Right.
other missions too, but the blood and disaster relief is really what most people recognize the Red Cross is doing. If you feel compelled that the work we do is worth your valuable your funds that you work hard to make, we would love to take your donation.
Okay.
We do work right here in Wilmington. We do all across Massachusetts and across the country. The
Right.
big fires and hurricanes is what people see mostly, but there are disasters daily in Massachusetts that we're helping people
Right.
with.
You and I were talking about the ice storms of years ago and just other things that, unless it impacts you closely, maybe you don't see it or you see it in the news and then it's kind of off your radar. But the Red Cross is always there doing.
We have a dedicated group of volunteers that respond to disasters 24 hours a day, and we can't do that work without them. So if you can't financially donate, we'll take your time too. If you want to volunteer with us, we'll happily train you in something that you're interested in and get you involved with people who are kind of like you.
Yeah, like-minded. I love it.
Yep.
Anything else you'd like to add, Peter? And thank you so much for reaching out to me to have you on the show so we can talk about this
I'm so grateful
issue.
you had us.
Yeah.
I just want to say that the gift of 1 hour of somebody is worth a lifetime for somebody else.
Wow.
It's like you're the silent donor. Nobody will ever know who it was, but it'll mean a lifetime for somebody else. And once again, I want to thank the Congregational Church for allowing me to be able to continue to do this. And all the years we've been doing this, they've been very supportive. And it's a great church and great people. And we hope to continue doing it for many more years. And if there's not a blood drive that's right here for you in this town, Tewksbury and Woburn have them all the time. Always reach out to
Sure.
somebody. There's a date
Thank
that
you.
fit for somebody.
Thank you for being a blood ambassador. That's what you call them, right? An
Right.
ambassador. I love that. And thank you so much for taking your time
Oh, thank you for
out of
having
your
us.
busy world to be here with us. All right. Well, I hope that that has motivated you to think differently about the blood situation, what you can do. Go ahead and look at redcross.org, right?
Redcross.org
Yeah.
or redcrossblood.org.
Everything you would ever want to know is there. And I thank you so much for being with me today. I know it's been a while since I've seen you, so it's good to see you all again. And as always, I'm going to close with my cheesy close, which is the next time somebody asks you, where's Wilmington, you tell them right here and right here on WCTV. We'll see you again soon.